Solve x over 4 minus 2/3 equals 1/4. This equation is more difficult to solve than the others we've seen so far because it contains fractions, and we know that arithmetic with fractions is much more complicated than arithmetic with integers. So here our goal is going to be to get rid of the fractions to make everything easier to work with. And luckily, there's a simple way that we can get rid of the fractions in any equation that we're working with. Whenever you are solving an equation with fractions, you should get rid of the fractions by multiplying both sides of the equation by the LCD, or the least common denominator. Let's do that in this problem and see how it helps. Notice that the denominators here are 4s and 3. The LCD between 4 and 3 is 12. It's the smallest number that's divisible by both of those. So we need to multiply both sides of the equation by 12. On the left, this will require distributing. Let's give it a go. 12 times x is 12x, and when we divide 12x by 4, that gives us 3x. Then we have minus 12 times 2 is 24, and 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we're left with 8 there, 3x minus 8 on the left. Then on the right, 12 times 1 is 12, and when we divide that by 4, we're left with 3. So we end up with 3x minus 8 equals 3. Notice that after multiplying by the LCD, we end up with a significantly easier equation to work with. 3x minus 8 equals 3 is much nicer than x over 4 minus 2/3 equals 1/4. So this strategy that I mentioned, where we multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD, really ends up being one of the most important rules that you will learn in your class, probably this semester. It's so important that you do this. If you don't do this, you'll continue to have fractions in the equation, and we know that adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions gets more complicated than just arithmetic with integers, so you're going to end up with a much more difficult time if you don't get rid of the fractions right away. Now, we want to continue solving for x. To do that, we're going to add 8 to both sides to get rid of that negative 8. When we do that, that gives us 3x on the left, and 3 plus 8 is 11 on the right. And then to get x alone, we divide both sides by 3. We end up with x on the left, and 11/3 doesn't reduce, so that ends up being our final answer. X equals 11/3.